We're in the middle of the sea battle on video 59. We're still in 1712. I've thrown us straight into this. Normally you go through the screens, don't you, that says a battle's starting and all that, with a quote and stuff. I've taken that off to try and squeeze all of this battle into the one video, so you can watch it all within the 10 minutes and the ramifications of it afterwards as well. If you remember, I've placed a cavalry unit into the port just north of Paris, because he's exited that now in order to repopulate Paris with soldiers, and he's got 3 ships in here. He's got 2 brigs and a sloop, pretty poor quality ships when you think I'm up to 5th and 6th rates now, some of which I've stolen, mind you, but he really doesn't stand much of a chance here. The idea is that we need to capture these ships. I know I've said all of this before, so anybody that's new to this, just close your ears, I suppose, or turn the volume off and watch the battle. Or in fact, you could skip until the last couple of minutes when we go back to the campaign map. You notice the wind coming in at the top there is coming from the northeast as we go north. So we're sort of going into that wind and crossing it. So he's going to go a little bit faster than us. So I'm going to have to change this movement as his speed adjusts, as he gets quicker, or as I get used to the speed that he's going at. I put my ships in order. They were in 3 lines when I first got the deployment in the battle. I'll put them all in 1 line. My preferred formation. It means that we're not shooting at each other, because parallel lines mean that you can fire over at one another. Sometimes I use that, but rarely. I've put my heaviest ship at the back. That's my Floyd. That's the heavy sort of Dutch merchant ship, which I'm going to have to put abroad at some point to earn some money for me. But anyhow, at the moment I'm using it as a kind of battleship up here in the English Channel. I've put it at the back because otherwise at the front of the line, of course, it's going to slow all my ships down to that speed. I haven't put my sloop up at the front, the very fast ship, because it'll go racing on ahead, and I don't want that to happen either. So and obviously that will be the one that takes the brunt of the enemy fire as well, so I tend to put my bigger ships up at the front, and that's exactly what I've done on this occasion. We're going to miss the crossing the T that some people talk about, and as always he tends to get the first shot in there. I changed everything, by the way, to chain shot, so we are going to take out sails. There are reinforcements that are going to come on this game as well, British reinforcements that are there in the English Channel. I desperately need to finish this fleet before the British get there, because the last thing I want to happen is for them to come along with cannonballs and blow one of these ships out of the water. Okay. Here we go, favourite position, managing to get between the first 2 ships there, which means I'll fire to the left and fire to the right. There we go, and we've already fired to the right once as well. On the way in towards that same ship. So we're going to go through the middle of there. I know I've hooked it so he'll come back between those ships. That's not going to happen because he'll have moved on by then. All my ships as they come round, by the way, are going to fire at that one off there to the left as well, so he's not getting away. He's going to come back to try and rescue his ships that are bound to be overawed and probably surrender. So he's on his way back, and of course I've got this nice wall of broadsides that are going to hit him as he's doing that as well, every one of them with chain shot. The idea is we take out his sails. So we're still getting shots to the both left and the right. The first ship we're going to need to take off fire pretty soon, because he's going to turn over the cusp, which means he'll then be firing. He just fired one across there now. Just take that off auto fire there, so that he's not firing as he comes round across that French ship into our own. Okay, I'm possibly not going to need him to fire again actually, but I will keep an eye on that situation. Once the second ship crosses that cusp, of course we need to think about that as well. The third ship now is going to be, because they fire, you can't take them auto fire off one side, it's just auto fire for both sides. So what's going to happen is he's going to be firing possibly no, he shouldn't be firing to the right because there's no target there for him, so we're safe enough there. Okay, so it's that second ship we need to take off auto fire. There we go, it's asking me to end the battle with 2 routing ships at the moment and 1 surrendered. So if I were to do end of battle now, I'll tell you what would happen. I'd get 1 ship from him as prize money, and that isn't going to be good enough for me, I'm afraid. So never ever press that button saying end the battle at that stage, just keep going for it. Okay, so we've got 2 routing ships now, and we've got 1 there that's surrendered. We're still firing chain shot for obvious reasons. More important now than ever before, because I don't want him to have a good full sail to be able to get away from me. He's not sailing directly with the wind behind him, but he is sailing roughly in that direction. In fact, it looks like that first ship has tried to turn to try and get into the wind, or rather with the wind in his sails. I'm sending the sloop out there. So I think that's the sloop. It's one of my light, faster troops anyway, to go and grab somebody just in case they do try and make for the wind and sail away. My sloop's sailing directly with the wind in the sails, as you can see there. Okay. Okay, you've got to be careful not to take your eye off the ball here, because you've got your own ship pretty close up there now. I've got mine up there pretty close. And last thing I want is these other big ships now to be firing grape shot. And not grape shot, sorry, chain shot straight into my sails. So I'm doing my best to try and disarm all of those immediately. Okay, looks like the sloop's caught that one. Almost caught him anyway. Oof, that almost went across my own ships, that one there as well. Okay, that one looks like it's surrendered there, so we've now got 2 surrendered ships. I've sent one in against him anyway, just in case, so that we can board that one. And now what we're going to do is just board this routing ship. This is the one that was most likely to get away. Looks like a pretty fast ship as well. Surprising little damage that's been done to that ship's sails as well, which is really surprising when you consider the amount of ships and the size of the ships that I've had firing at it. Yeah. Okay. So here we go. Close up of the boarding action. We're approaching the end of this battle now. Of course, it'll come to an end as soon as we boarded. There you go. It says close victory, would you believe? We've captured 3 ships without any loss of our own. Well, we've taken some hits, of course, but hardly anything, and they're calling that a close victory. But anyway, pretty good prize money, nearly 2,000 there. We would have got about 400 to 600 if we'd have done that. If we'd have done that finished battle now. If we'd done an auto-resolve, goodness knows what we might have got. We probably wouldn't have got anything. Probably lost a ship and perhaps sunk 2 of his, and the other one would have got away or something stupid like that. That's the last thing we want to happen. Okay, so having defeated those ships and blockading his port, we've now got our cavalry in that port area. The cavalry in the port area are now at risk from attack from those troops from Paris. Okay, if I could move that fleet round, the idea was that I would get some troop of horse on those ships and bring them round. But as you notice, I didn't select the cavalry troop when I was doing it, so I thought I'd put them on the ships, and I actually hadn't done. So what I'm going to have to do now is pinch a light ship from here. Well, I'm going to take the whole fleet anyway into the port anyway to blockade it. I'm going to pinch a light fleet out of there, put it in there and pick up that cavalry unit. Otherwise it's exposed to all those troops that he's got there in Paris. I won't be able to get it all the way back in time into safety, perhaps into the fort. So, do it properly this time, select it. There we go, put it on the ship. And then I'll move that sloop across to join the rest of the fleet in that port in France and disembark that one, this one here. The idea of this now is I've got 2 units on that side of France, on the northwest of France, that can go around damaging buildings, yeah, and therefore cause more harm to his economy. So I've upped the game really. I've blockaded his port, so he's getting no trade income whatsoever, overseas trade. He might be getting overland trade from Spain, maybe from 1 or 2 other places as well, I'm not too sure, but certainly his overseas trade should be sorted now. Take them off the ships and re-blockade the port. And I expect I'll move this cavalry further down as the turns go on and attack industrial buildings and completely wreck those. Some of them can give him, 1,400 a turn. Anyway, until the next video.